Jinshuan Group, China's dominant nickel producer, may be the secret bidder for South African miner Metorex. Now, this is according to the Business Day newspaper. With a busy projects pipeline and potential for brownfield expansion, Metorex seeks to more than double its current annual copper production of around 50,000 tons.
Metorex market cap 7.9, price earnings 21.5, no dividend yield, and every time we talk about it, that market cap is going up. Warren, I want to come to you first. Offer on the table, what was it, 735,
Yeah.
And I remember the day it happened on this show. I said, hey, the rumor was there were 2 or 3 folks who might get a better offer. The market seemed to do that. We got confirmation a couple of weeks ago from the board that there was. What we're not getting is any hard numbers. Now, the timelines are what's worrying me. Now, the market's at 788 saying it's coming, but the shareholders vote 22nd July on the Valet offer at 735.
Yeah.
The other bidder, who we know exists, we don't necessarily know who they are or what their price is, needs to get firm commitments on the table before that 22 July. Otherwise, the guys are going to vote for the 735.
Yes, well, this is what we think is very interesting with regards to Metorex. The share price today, as I understand it, closed at 788. So between 735, it's now above the bid price, which obviously tells you that the market's expecting the second offer to come in. As far as we understand it, we think that this second bidder that expressed interest on the 19th of June was Jinshuan, which is one of the biggest cobalt producers in China. And what we understand as well is that they spent a lot of time, as long as 12 months, looking at taking out Metorex prior to Vale coming with
Vale
their offer.
kind of swooped in.
Yes. And what Vale did when they swooped in as well is that they made sure that they weren't being the ones used to smoke Jinshuan out of the mire and try and bring them to the table. So they put that 72 million break fee in place, which means that if the board of directors chooses to back another bid, they have to pay Vale 72 million.
And that's about 10 cents a share or so, 7 or 8 cents a share.
Yeah. So what happens now is that we ask the question, well, what's happening here and what's changed for Jinshuan since they had a huge due diligence team look at this. They had lots of time. We thought that the reason why they hadn't made an offer was because they couldn't get regulatory approval from the National Commission. It's called the National and Development Reform Commission, which is a commission in China that approves deals for local Chinese companies to take out foreign operators. So they've come back now and they've expressed this interest, we think. This is just our opinion. So what's changed? They obviously think that there's an opportunity here to get this approval through and then make a serious offer for Metorex, which would obviously
at what sort of price? I initially thought maybe 850. Frankly, I've heard 10 Rand, which sounds a little bit crazy. I mean, you've got to beat the offer. 850 beats the offer. Everyone's happy, well, except for Valet. But
we'd expect at least a 10% premium on the offer, 735, plus the costs required to get the
takes to about 820, 830.
Yeah, so about 820 minimum. And then you've still got to sell the board on the strategic reasons why you think you'd be a better owner than a world-class company like Vale. So it's quite a very interesting situation, and I think that is the reason why we think Jinshuan's going to come with an offer, and that's why you're seeing the share price push north of the offer price.
Sounds like a risky game they're playing. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on your fantastic Mandarin, much better than mine.
That's why we threw it to you.
All right, Tshepo, so I think Warren putting it quite nicely with regards to some of the scenarios that could play out. What is your sense?
We sit back and watch.
It's quite fun. I mean, a little bit of a boardroom battle. I mean, you don't get enough of it.
Are you sitting back and watching as a shareholder?
No.
As an investor? Or
look,
do you own Metorex?
It's one we wish we held to the last year. Share price has done tremendously well. So no, unfortunately, we haven't held it for the last year. We've been positioned elsewhere. So we watch as a market participant rather than a shareholder.
And it's certainly not a stock one would be jumping into now. I mean, Warren's talking 820, even maybe 830, 840. Your upside is there, but it's small. Your downside, I suppose, capped at sort of 735. But it highly speculative to jump in for what would be maybe a 30-cent profit.
No, for sure. And given the time frame, you're pretty much ruling out us. We like to buy and hold for a good 3-4 years. This is not the space will be playing in anytime soon.
And Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, remember Peter Major was actually saying 735 is a great price because he wasn't really
we had Peter on the day the show
on,
came out.
Exactly, and wasn't very optimistic about where the commodity space is going, especially the copper price, and saying, well, if I was Metorex shareholders, I would take 735.
Look, if you're looking at the current price relative to what copper's done over the last 2 months and relative to what the other commodity stocks have done over the last 2 months, you'd probably be selling out now and locking in those profits in my mind. So from that perspective, it's actually, if you have been a shareholder, it's a nice play.
Yeah. So I know that you think it's hot, but is it hot enough to buy? Hot or not?
Look, when you're looking at the company from core valuations, it looks decent, but given the corporate activity around it, not hot right now.
Not hot, okay.
I think it's lukewarm at the moment.
Lukewarm. Okay,
Yes.
would you buy at these levels? Yes,
No, you need to be in before 735 to still be playing this game.
So if something does happen and it drops to below 735,
Oh, well, it shouldn't drop below
Shouldn't go below.
735 because I think Vale have made a proper
no,
offer.
I'm saying if the share price drops, if
yes.
chance,
Suddenly
if
650.
something happens with the copper price, I don't know.
And you want to
default
take a
perhaps.
punt on the National Development Reform Commission of China, then by all means, yeah. That's 735.
Okay, Simon.
It's hot, but do you buy it? Short answer, no. Your upside is limited.
Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left for our guess hot stock picks. I see, Warren, your hot stock pick is Metorex.
Yes,
Is there any other hot stock pick? Okay, is that
Not at the
any other-
moment.
Any other stock?
No, not at the moment.
No hot stock pick. Okay. Tshepo, your hot stock pick? for today?
I decided to be a little different.
Like you usually are, actually.
So I'm trying to make sure that you don't box me.
Yeah.
Our stock pick for the evening is Intel Corporation. We've had a handful of people asking us, if you were to take a punt offshore, where would you take it? You may argue that the American market as a whole is probably slightly overvalued, maybe even more than slightly overvalued. But like most markets, there's some really, really good gems within those markets, and Intel being one of them. I think there's been a large demand for your social media type stocks. We saw what LinkedIn did on opening, and if you're looking at that relative to what the core players like Intel have done, it's incredible. So Intel, in our view, is a company that you're looking at a return on equity profile of 30%. A price to book, and this is a pretty stable book of about 1.5. So from a valuation perspective, it's looking as attractive as it has probably for the better part of the last 10 years. So in our view, Intel presents a very good value investment in that the valuations have come back to investors. You've got a stable core earnings profile going back to the 70s, and you've actually got pretty decent growth prospects in the company. So it's our stock pick.
Fantastic. Okay, 1 second. Hot or not?
Intel, sure. Boring, nice.
Hot or not?
Hot.
Hot. Beautiful. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Much appreciated.